Welcome to Own It, the podcast where we talk to real estate thought leaders about embracing your strengths, taking your career to new heights, and owning your future. I'm Hillary Saunders, joined today with my undecorated co-host, Spencer Kroll.
All right, you know what? I'll accept that.
You know why I say that is because I have a much more decorated guest.
Yes.
Anita Legacy Blue, I am so honored to have the 2024 HousingWire Woman of Influence and President of the Alliance joining us today.
You are a hero of mine, and not just because you were Air Force, my dad was Air Force, but because of all the advocacy work you do with the Alliance and pushing home ownership, fair housing, equality across the country. I'm very, very proud of you. So kudos to you, and thank you for taking the time.
Oh, thank you so much, Hillary. You know, you're a big supporter of us at the Alliance. We definitely appreciate anyone who's an ally. A large percentage of our membership is allies, and so we appreciate, because we cannot do it without the support. We cannot do it.
I love this. Well, I want to dive right in, and I would love to build a foundation for our audience to understand what the LGBTQ plus community is facing in housing equality across the country, what issues are there, and just kind of give a lay of the land, if you will.
Great. Wonderful question. So, you know, with our community, several things are going on. The Alliance exists for fair housing in our community, LGBTQ+, because there are a lot of things that do happen. I've had several testimonies from people where they try to purchase a home or even rent. They have to be charged double the deposit, or, you know, even told, you know, based on who you are, we don't want you in our neighborhood, or we don't want to rent to you. And so we exist to protect them or be the voice for them, to advocate in their behalf as people in the community, as a realtor myself, to say, hey, that's not right, and we can fight for you. And so we want everybody to know that we exist in the community and be there for them as a force, a voice to push it forward. You know, myself, I was pretty lucky. You know, when I applied for my home, I was a single person too, so I just applied. I didn't have any issues. But I have had clients, even one talked to me not too long ago, she was turned down for something because of who she is. And I think that's really, really sad. And so that's why the Alliance exists here to help in that area and to just protect and fight and advocate for our community.
When you're saying that you fight for someone and someone is a victim of discrimination, what are some of, and I guess every state is going to be a little bit different, but what are some of the steps that the Alliance can go through?
Well, it wouldn't be necessarily the Alliance, right? As an agent, we're in all different areas of the nation, right, or associations. So it would be really to file complaints through your association, right? Whatever that looks like. As for the Code of Ethics, there is one at NAR, is based on race discrimination of any kind. 10.5, Article 10.5 is what we would go through. But you can file through your local association, file through NAR or bring it to light, or you can definitely, at this point, for some states that don't have protections, you would go through HUD. Housing and Urban Development is how you can file a complaint. And if you don't, just Google it. You know how we do. We learn from Google.
Sure. And I'm just curious, within the agent community itself, do you find that there's still pushback there, or do you think that you know, or has the message kind of come through and it's...
When you say pushback, you mean is there...
Are there agents who are saying, I don't want to deal with people that, you know...
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. People try to celebrate pride and post on their pages, associations. The hate that has come from them just saying, we celebrate pride, has been horrific.
That makes me sad.
It makes me very sad. It's very triggering for our membership, for myself, as somebody who's out and proud and just like, we just want to just celebrate. This is our month. And some of the comments, well, why can't we celebrate straight month? You know, this is why. What does it have to do with real estate, the industry? You know, several people that are really kind of almost violating 10.5. And so some of those things will be looked at, and possibly some people will have consequences. And I think that has to happen for people to totally understand. That's freedom of speech, but as a realtor, we're 24/7. Like when I was in the military, because it was 8 to 5, but after 5, I was still on duty. I still could be, you know, have some type of repercussions for my actions. And it has to be the same way in this industry for people to understand, hey, you have your opinions, you have your belief, you have your religion, but that's yours. It's not mine. And you don't have to push that on me. We're not pushing anything. We're just saying happy, celebrate, joyful things, nothing to be mad about.
We work in an industry that is literally providing one of the basic necessities in life, which is shelter. And there is an unfortunate mass migration that is happening that I don't think a lot of people know about or understand. Can you touch on that?
Absolutely. It's certain states, I have to call out two of them. One I'm from, which is Texas, and Florida have, the biggest amount of laws that are kind of anti-LGBTQ. And they're saying, hey, staying here, you don't have the protections that you probably would need, and especially in the trans community for medical care, health care for trans kids. And so parents are saying, hey, I cannot stay here. It is unsafe. People have been threatened with their lives to say, we don't want you here in our neighborhood. We need you to move. You're not welcome here. And so people have to making life decisions for their children. Anybody who has kids, what would you do for your kids? Mm-hmm. How much would you fight? What is your advocacy? You would do the same things. And so people are fleeing certain states just to say, I feel safer here. And that's a list on the website, too. I wish I had the exact states, but they'll tell you safe states. Mm-hmm. This is where people are more accepting of the LGBTQ plus community, and this is where you can move and migrate to and be safe and provided with that health care as well.
Yeah, and we were just in Washington, D.C. a month ago, I think it was,
Yep.
and there are bills that are being formulated to make fair housing equal, right?
Yes.
The LGBTQ plus community was not included back in, when they created it in 68
Correct.
or the amendments in 84 and whenever
Correct.
else. So what if people want to help and make sure that fair housing is actually fair, what can any individual listener do?
Well, I know one thing where they can get educated is the ACLU website, because it's going to tell you in every state where funding is going to certain legislators who have certain bills that they bring to the House or bring on the floor or that they back. And so if you see someone who is getting money to back certain bills, is that someone you want to say who's in fair housing? Because if something is against fair housing or a certain diverse group of people, how are you saying I'm for fair housing? Who wouldn't say they were for fair
Right.
housing? But you can track and see where that money is going and what their causes are or what their beliefs are or what bills they're backing. And so ACLU is where you can go and look every state. They track in every state and see where the money is going. So follow the money. We've heard that how many times?
Yeah.
It will lead you down the path.
Have you, so how long have you been involved with the Alliance?
It's only 4 years. 2020 is when it started from inception. So one of the actual founders of the Alliance.
Okay. That I didn't know. That's really impressive. Have you had a victory that you can point to where you can say, like, here's something that you're really proud of that has been accomplished?
Well, a lot of what we're doing in policy, right, we were able to get a couple of what we call articles passed to kind of look more into LGBTQ plus housing and how we're treated. I know there's a bill now, HR 4439. It's a Fair and Equal Housing Act where we're trying to add sexual orientation and gender identity to the actual bill. A lot of people were looking at sex as being like, it should be included under there, but like, no, it doesn't. So we need it to be spelled out, right? Just like if the race and everything else. And so that's one of the things that we're looking at right there, just really getting behind that bill. Congressman Brad Schneider is the one who created that. And so we've in talks with him to support and advocate moving towards, getting that passed, which will help some of what we're going through and have it black and white. This is a protected class. This is a part of the bill.
And what about within the industry?
In the industry, the only thing they did add was the Article 10. They upgraded that. They did put in
the social media.
Yes. Yeah. So that is a part of it, but I guess everybody hasn't gotten a memo because of what has been been able to be said on social media posts, unfortunately. And I just think they have to go by the code of ethics, file a complaint, and those people need to be whatever punishment that comes their way, that's what they'll have to have. Freedom of speech, okay, it is free. Sure. But when it comes with hate and you have a code that you're supposed to follow, like me in the military, certain things I couldn't do.
Sure.
I don't care what I thought or how I felt. I could not do it. And so people, I think, have come in the climate we have right now, this certain freedom of boldness has become very apparent. And if we don't stop, especially realtors, we're going to have a major problem.
Well, I just don't understand why the basic, humanity, if there's nothing nice to say, just don't say anything. Like, be a kind human.
Yes.
Like, we're all humans.
Right.
Anyway, I could talk about that for hours.
So you mentioned Article 10 of the National Association of Realtors Code of Ethics. Can you just, for people that don't know what that is, can you? Explain that.
So definitely for realtors, that's a code of ethics that we have to operate by, which is fairness, right? Equality, non-discrimination type activities. So that 10.5 basically says you cannot discriminate based on sex, based on race, based on sexual orientation, gender identity, any kind of hate speech. That you cannot do that as a realtor. That's a part of the code. And if you break the code, there are consequences. So please don't break the code. Just love on everybody. We have freedom of speech, but, use it wisely.
Yeah,
use it wisely.
And it goes to social media posts and stuff like that.
Yes.
So it really is, we're out there publicly all the time.
Yes, and we have to 24/7. We're realtors, regardless.
Your military service, thank you for your service, was in the Air Force.
Correct.
And you spent quite a bit of time there. What kind of leadership skills or what did you learn during that journey that you now are able to apply to leading this national organization?
Definitely a structure. Following, being inside of a structure is key. Being in having alternate plans or contingencies in case things don't go how you think they should go. I heard somebody speaking earlier in this conference, look beyond the horizon, look beyond where you are to the horizon. What could come next? So for me, I think this has been a year of structure, just putting things in place because we grew so fast. We grew beyond where we were in certain things. The foundation wasn't as strong as it could have been because of the growth. And so now coming in, some things we put in place to kind of have some liaisons between the president too, because a lot of things are coming straight to the president, but we had to get some buffers. So the president can be out talking and advocating for the organization, be the face, and some things could be handled internally better. And so that's a lot of what we've been working on this year. I was really kind of getting a little nervous about it and saying I wanted to have some other things happen, but I believe in, being in a purpose, the right time, right place. And I feel that this is just what I had to do based on my background and what I'm good at, organization, structure, bringing some, because it's a civilian world, we call it, and then it's the military world. And so we want to be in a structure or a organization chart of you shouldn't have any questions about what's going on. What's the next thing? If a person does A, B, and C, what happens to them? And some of those things weren't quite in place for us, but we're putting them in place now.
I dated a woman when I was in high school who her father was in the Navy, and they actually had manuals for anything that happened. Like the toaster, there was an actual manual what to do if the circuit breaker went out.
Absolutely.
I was shocked. He had one to how to get me out of their apartment. But so you have the military world though, where the structure's built into it. Then you have the real world where now you're building an organization. Not everybody is on the same page and everybody's saluting the same way. What sort of challenges did you have in building your organization?
Well, just in where I am in moving forward, it has been a challenge because it's a different way of leading, and some people aren't adapt to that. I mean, you're a realtor. I have freedoms to do whatever I want. So somebody coming in here to tell me how I need to kind of walk this path, and I'm able to go all over the path. And previously, is a challenge, and I think that has been hard for a couple of people too. But I think if they would really take a few moments, breathe, breathe through it, and be flexible, right? Because every leader is going to be different. You might not agree, but it's a respect thing for me. Respect just the position. If you don't like some of the things I'm doing, but at least respect the position. And that's how I've always had to do it. I didn't like every leader that was, there for me. Some of them were horrible, but I couldn't just go up and say and do anything that I wanted to do to be disrespectful. And I think that's a part of growing and learning in an organization too that's nonprofit, a lot of volunteers, and sometimes it gets emotional, right? And
Where did your passion for advocacy come from?
You know what? I have a book that's out. I have two books. One of them is called Becoming a Leader. It's called Breakthrough Success. But my chapters, a collaborative books, is called Becoming a Leader While Hiding in Plain Sight. And so that was me. I continued to escalate in the military, but I wasn't my authentic self. I never came out to but one person in 35 years, and it was a white male, actually. He's such a cool guy. I just felt so comfortable with him, and I just told him. But nobody else I really told because I couldn't. I didn't feel comfortable. And so I was being able to escalate and go through leadership courses. The military, they're going to provide everything you need to get to the next level. You have to have certain things, and I went through all of that. And it helped me grow to where I am today and being thoughtful, being empathetic. I think I'm well-rounded. I don't react too quick on things. I try to take it in. What's the best route? I try to get advice from people. Just, hey, what would you do? What do you think? Just to make the best decisions. Because when we react too fast and we type that email too quick, it turns out bad, and that's not me. I try to wait, kind of woosah, and make my decisions. But a large part of who I am is 35 years.
Were you in during Don't Ask, Don't Tell?
Yes, yes.
I
went through
curious.
all of that.
I mean, that's ridiculous, right?
Yes.
I mean, so what was that like?
It was scary. Actually, for me, I was a large part of my career. I think it's about half and half. I was in the National Guard, so I wasn't active duty every day. So I could still go out and be out. But people who were active duty were being investigated. They were being searched. People were calling and telling on people. They would go and follow them to clubs. OSI, the investigative services for the military.
Because there's nothing better to do.
Right. We not have no wars. We don't have nothing else going on. Let's go and so they have to retract some of that stuff. Some people who were kicked out, they are retracting it and being able to go back and get honorable discharges. So I'm grateful for that for people, but it wasn't as stressful for me, but it was stressful for a lot of people. And they lost their careers based on who they were trying to be and hiding it and just being out.
Yeah, and what I find interesting is just looking at what it was like when I was in high school, right? So there were gay kids in high school, and I went to a liberal high school in New York City, right? Okay. So you can't think. I guess maybe a liberal high school in San Francisco might be the only more welcoming sort of thing. But there was still a stigma to it, right? There was still like a bit of a stigma, and I have a trans son, and it's just interesting in certain places where they can just be. There's my trans son, and that's it. And it's like not an issue. But then you read about these places, and you're talking about these migrations that are happening, and a lot of people can't leave.
Right.
So I'm just curious, what is a step that you think, or do you have any idea, what can you do in those states?
You have to try and find your tribe, find an organization that is supportive, any kind of resources, or do something national. Call an 800 number, anything national with the Trevor Project, any of those things, Human Rights Campaign, PFLAG. So try to find those organizations, go national and see if there's anything local close to you, because you need to be able to have some type of support. You need to be able to find some group or some advocacy in your area, even if it's maybe a couple hours drive away, because people are in small towns, and it's still very, very much homophobic, and it's scary for people as these, we call it the loud minority, because there's much more of us that we don't care, we're accepting, we receive this. 91% of Gen Z, they are America, not Gen Z, America, we don't care. Okay,
be
great.
You.
Love who you love.
Yeah,
but it's a small minority of voices that are speaking the loudest because enough of us, the majority, aren't fighting against it or making complaints or calling people out. And so when I was on the stage this morning, that's basically what I was saying. Hey, show up, stand up, and make a difference, and call people out. Man, that ain't right. Why you feel this way? And if you do, that's you. Don't try to project that on us, because a lot of us, I think the stats show 1 in 3 persons it has somebody they know or related to or are LGBTQ+.
What resources does the Alliance provide, or should we provide, for, say, realtors who have clients that are in the LGBTQ+ community that maybe they're not in that community, right? If I'm straight and I've got some gay clients, what kind of resources do I have at my disposal to learn more and be more empathetic?
So what we have is the Alliance Ally Certified course that we offer through, Alex Cruz is the person who is over it for us, and we're trying to spread it out more. And it just gives you some of the history, some of the background, how you should be able to speak and understand the culture of who we are. And it's not super different. I think the biggest thing right now is when you talk about your pronouns, she, her, that's my pronouns, or somebody who's they, them, just ask them. So it's probably certain questions you should be educated on how I should address. And then the forms is the next thing. So if someone's trans, right, if your birth certificate says one thing, but your ID says something different, how are we going to transform this on the forms? And so it's just those types of things. But if you're looking for resources for the Alliance, that's the biggest one we have right now.
What's the name of the course?
It's an Alliance Certified Ally course.
Okay.
Alliance Certified Ally course. We having one on the 27th of June. I don't know when this is going to run. But you can go to realestatealliance.org and look at when the next courses are being had, because we have them all throughout the year. And you can look at an association to get them. It's not really necessarily for a single person. If we can get associations, that's a larger group, right? And have them all be looking at the same thing, understanding together, that just helps the whole association. Because if you take it by yourself, you're trying to run upstream, right? Because you took it and you understand it, but Sally or Billy didn't take it, so they don't understand it.
Well, and I think it's a good opportunity for a community, whether it's an office or brokerage or whatever, to collectively say, let's understand these differences. Also, we called this out earlier with I think it was Mauricio from NARREP, is that this is a business opportunity too.
Yes.
Yeah.
It
Absolutely.
yes, it is humanitarian, but if you want to be honest about it, this is bottom line. Like if you open yourself up to understanding this entire situation, you can benefit.
And what I've said multiple times on multiple stages, money is green. It's not black, brown, yellow, any other color. And I am not concerned.
It can be dirty. But
Okay, we're going to rinse that off, though. And iron it. But I just want people to just accept people where they are. If they qualify, I don't even know what the burn is. It's hard to understand, though, right?
Right. There was a really cool stat that I cannot remember who shared last year at the Alliance, but about the percentage of gay couples who are, in the ultra 1% or 2% or something. It was crazy stats, but there's more money to be had in that community.
Absolutely. They're above, above 400,000 or above as far as buying power.
Yeah.
Right. So, it is more gay couples, males, white, cis, that are buying together, right? That they can, definitely make that happen because they have the funding.
I love that you talked about contingency plan. And I think right now, given the real estate environment, those that have contingency plans to adapt will be the ones to succeed,
Absolutely.
right? So how did you translate knowing and learning about and being super good at contingency plans in the military to real estate and running this organization?
Because I know how important it is. It works. The military has its issues or things that you might not agree with sometimes, but those things they set in place are there for a reason and they work. To have a primary and alternate person, not just one point of failure. You should never have one point of failure. And so that's where my mindset is. When I came in the first day, I was like, we need to have, everybody needs to have an alternate. Because then you're grooming people to take the place, right? You're bringing up leaders, you're raising leaders. Because they see and can see what's going on and learn. And if you step out, they should know something about what to do next. Right. And so that's very important to me. I'm all about leadership and empowering people. And if they can see it, they can do it. Like I saw somebody do it, you'll do it a little different or have your little, what they call swag on it or your little play on it. But you have the basics. And that's important to me to have those basics to be able to bring them up and lift them up and be able to not be so scared or so afraid to get on the stage because I don't feel comfortable. Right now, the Alliance, we have a 1 year, 12-month, experience as being the president. And right now I'm right in my 9th month and I really feel like I'm getting my jam, right? And then it's over. I just encourage people, but the quicker we can get people getting those 1 year, because the vice president 2026 is already in place. 2025 is next year. So those people are seeing things and we're adding things that we didn't have before. Right. And so that's making us stronger too for foundational level, and when somebody steps out, somebody can step in.
Yeah, it's great because you're already setting up your leader. You have a leadership plan, right? So now more and more people. I think it's the same with any association. Also, if get involved in a local chapter.
Absolutely.
So if people want to get involved in a local chapter or they want to start a local chapter, where would they go? Who would they talk to?
They're going to go to realestatealliance.org. Our actual national chapter program coordinator or director. His name is Pip Frankie, and you can email him at PIP at realestatealliance.org and say, hey, I want to start a chapter. He can give you some of what that looks like. Normally, it's going to take at least 15 members because from that, you need to have a board, which is about 5 people, and then you can start planning the events. And we have onboarding. A lot of things have really come into place and gelled in this 4th year that I'm super proud about those things that we've been able to kind of start and continue to build on. That's going to help us be stronger. I think somebody just gave him a shout out yesterday. He did an onboarding for them. I'm so excited. I went to New Jersey and Kentucky. They didn't have chapters. We want to start one. So the Alliance is growing. People want to get involved. And the more they can hear about us, learn about us, I think they'll be excited because we need everybody. We're welcoming, right? And so please come in, hug us. We want to hug you. And, just fair housing for everybody and to feel comfortable.
Yeah, the passion exudes from your pores. One takeaway that you would like to instill, either that you learned from Aaron last year, the prior president, or want to instill in the future president, what would it be?
continue to grow through some of the hard times, right? Because that makes you stronger. Somebody said that on the station, and I believe that as I've gone through a little struggle myself this year, but it made me stronger. And what I am not is a quitter. I want to learn, I want to grow, and I want to let everybody see me because I am a light for somebody. Somebody's watching who I am as a black person, as a lesbian woman. And if I just say, oh, this is too hard, or what am I doing? And that's not who I am. So it's always about just being strong. Our actual theme this year for the Alliance is Celebrate Pride, Celebrate Resilience. And that's what we're doing, pushing through, just being resilient day after day after day through some of the things that we handle. But, I'm a great believer in God and, things being happening for certain reasons and seasons. And so I just believe this is my reason for being here at this time. This is the moment that I'm supposed to be here as the leader based on what we're going through, and I'm excited about that.
Well, I love it, and I want to thank you so much for joining us on the podcast today. You are a big inspiration, and if just by coming out and speaking, I'm sure you've inspired at least one person, and more than likely you've probably saved somebody too. So cheers to you.
Thank you so much. Own it. Let's go.
I love it, and we'll see you on another episode of Own It.